It really is.
It really is.
I think really more so than any
You
of
know,
us
like
fully
after the
appreciate
flood,
it.
when they put the rocks in front of the dam,
Right.
that looks so big.
Exactly. Cutie compared to, yeah.
What is that? Oh, is that what that looks like?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, there's other body parts. Sorry, did you have a heated steering wheel?
No.
I do.
I hear they're pretty nice. All
There.
about eating the body. You can drive her, not the air around her.
And the seat also goes up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why you know.
You got the winter package.
The winter package. I think when it comes to the engine,
Oh, it's.
that it's just a blanket. It doesn't do much.
Seats.
My younger son is chronically cold, and so Mark got a new car with heated seats last year and he loves it.
It makes a difference,
And the older one likes that we don't have to heat the whole dang car just to keep.
Right. right?
Thermostat went up 1 degree, so I think
Okay.
that's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It's raining heat, so it's gonna take a little bit.
By the time we leave.
We need a nest or something that we can turn up an hour before meetings.
Well,
Well, it's
First
the schedule.
time.
It's programmed, so
Oh.
I've been here for like an hour and a half, and I reset
Nice
the
job.
time and I double checked the programming, and the heat was supposed to turn on an hour before, like at 4, and
Ah.
and I had cranked it, even that I overrode it and went up to 70, and I gained a degree in about an hour and a half, so,
I just sent a note to John McCullough.
yeah.
I did that. I thought that before, because some people said they like
I feel
that.
like it
But
was-
Scott reminds me that Cy Lamberton was on the select board for years and years. And he used to always come before town meeting like a couple of days ahead of time and start the fire.
Start it, yeah.
Okay, it's 5:30, folks, it's,
Right.
Okay.
When did you look at it?
we have a forum, we're ready to go.
Attention.
We have a forum.
The chair is trying to get everyone's attention.
Welcome, everybody, to yes, Joe Powell and Craig and whoever else. The first, issue we're gonna do is approving the minutes of the last 2 PCA meetings of November 13th, 2023, and March 25th, 2024. Has everybody had a chance to review these minutes?
Yes.
You know where the simplified is, the second item down there says, simplified version of the zoning.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Dan provided. You know where, when you find that?
Yes, we posted it to the website. Jennifer did a beautiful job and we posted it to the website and I think we even emailed it to the time, but that was a year ago. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, I'm sure it's still on the website. So,
Under the planning commission?
yeah. Dan did a beautiful job. It was an excellent suggestion on Charlotte's part.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And people still ask to see it.
Good,
These are
good.
extra copies.
I don't think we should expect everybody to read all of those. You know, as reported,
Okay, any changes or amendments or whatever to the November 13th, 2023 minutes? I move to approve the November 23, 2023 minutes. Second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the March 25th, 2024 minutes. Same questions, anyone had a chance to read them, and do you have any changes or amendments?
I just noted for Keegan that I really appreciate, and I think members of the public would as well, what she had done on the November 13th minutes, but does not appear on the March 25, which is to have initials indicating what her offices are. I'm not asking her to make the change on the March 25 minutes, but I would hope in the future we could have this practice of having at least the initials. So it's clear to us in the public who we are.
Correct. That makes sense.
Oh, we haven't voted, right?
Any changes?
Oh.
All right, any discussion other than that? Motion to approve the minutes of March, 25th? I'll move to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2020. Okay, what's the year? 25th, 2024, yeah. Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Could I have a question on, the minutes? I can't remember which one it is, but, there was a comment about, security during elections. And have we needed any? And, is that an issue?
So we had security at town meeting. No, we have never needed any, but we have security lined up for all 12 hours. The polls are open on November the 5th. It's already arranged. Everybody's confirmed.
So we're just gonna do that from now on.
Not necessarily, not necessarily. This is the November 5th general election is, a high.
Yes.
national Election.
Yes.
And so we're doing it this
I-
time,
yeah.
but I don't think it's necessarily something we're looking to do every election.
I think outside of presidential, especially contentious presidential
Yeah.
elections, I will play it time by time. And as far as security, we're not bringing in law enforcement. The sheriff's offices will obviously all be on call that day, the state police. These are just people who Barbara and I agreed have a presence and are able to de-escalate and escort someone out if they're causing any sort of issue. So it's definitely not meant to be someone who's overly intimidating. There are no firearms allowed at polling places. This is just someone who's agreed to be present and to assist in the event that anyone gets a little out of hand.
Okay, the next, on the agenda is the electing the chair and vice chair for the ensuing year. Any nominations for chair?
I nominate Michael Longo for chair.
I'll second that.
Yes,
I have a question.
yes.
Are you willing to accept a nomination?
Sure.
Okay.
This is not a tough job. All right, any other nominations?
Just for chair?
For chair. Nobody wants to, okay. All right.
Okay.
Actually, I'd like to ask another question. Would you be willing to consider if you were nominated for a 2-year term?
I lived that long, yes.
Would you consider a friendly
I would consider
amendment
that friendly amendment.
that he be nominated for a
Yes.
2-year term? Okay, now call for a vote.
All those in favor of this?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, please? No. All right,
Thank
that
you.
carries.
Thank you, Michael.
Vice chair for the ensuing, I assume, 2 years now. Any nominations? Who's it now? You are.
I am?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
I didn't even know that.
Now you,
I assume you did a great job. so-
I must have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very-
Okay.
nominate Charlotte as the vice chair for a 2-year term.
Second. All right, any other nominations?
Are you willing to accept?
It's so onerous.
I know.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of Charlotte as vice chair for the next 2 years?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Charlotte is now the vice chair.
Okay.
Look out.
Thank you, guys.
I'm sorry if I could interrupt for a moment. A question comes to my mind as a person with a lot of parliamentarian experience. Do you have bylaws that you follow, and can you just change the terms on a whim? I'm just asking, I don't mean to throw a monkey wrench into anything. Hopefully a member of the public,
Bylaws, we have rules of procedure.
okay.
And
and-
statute.
But I
You
would
know-
have said statute before, so I
You
think
know-
this is a one-year term, assuming we look at the statute and find out that this is.
Yeah.
Just came to mind.
If it's a one-year term, I'll accept the one-year term. If it's a two-year term, well, I guess they have it. Same with Charlotte, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right, next, item on the agenda is approving the opening of board envelopes on Monday, November fourth, prepare ballot for November fifth, election day tabulation.
And I'm going to remove that from the agenda because Barbara and I looked and that is not something that we can technically do. The only
Really?
way they can be opened ahead of time is if you're immediately putting them into the tabulator.
I thought that was such a good idea.
It sounds like a great idea. The state doesn't like having wide open ballots sitting around your town office
I see.
before an election, so that it's not an option.
All right, we'll table that one. All right, we're moving on to discussing and voting on the location, polling hours, and whether or not to use a tabulator for the March fourth, 2025 town meeting. Any discussion on that?
The cost of the tabulator is significant. They have to program the memory cards to do the tabulating. And I personally don't think we need to for our own town meeting. It should be a simple town meeting. All of the school ballots will be tabulated another day. So those we won't have to deal with that night, except for counting the stacks. We won't have, as far as I know, anything from the state or federal or anything else. So I think doing a hand count is less expensive and good practice, but it's for you all to discuss and decide. That's just my recommendation.
Sure.
Out of curiosity, how much is a tabulator?
I have to look it up. I've got it in the budget. So if you'll give me a moment, will you discuss maybe the location or the
Do
hour?
you have a recommendation, either you or Barbara, for the location and polling hours?
I recommend the elementary school, polling hours. 7 or 7 to 7?
7 to 7.
7 to 7?
I mean, it doesn't have to be,
It doesn't.
no.
Oh.
No, it can go as late as 10
The
a.m.
latest, you can open is 10 a.m. You must
Okay.
remain open until 7 p.m.
Okay, what do you want?
How much,
What would you like?
All the elections that I've worked have been 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but we never considered reducing that. So it's really the decision.
do you get traffic between 7 and 8?
Weeks, a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit, especially since COVID and people's work schedules changed. And so when
Yeah.
people are going into work early.
And people can mail them in early if they know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we don't get that much traffic between 7 and 9.
I personally think that if people are used to 7 to 7, we should stick with 7 to 7 unless there's a compelling reason not to.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would like to recommend, also in a second, I think Tegan already said the school, based on the attendance, the number of people, the parking required, plus this building is not heated upstairs.
Or downstairs, if you.
There's really no heat upstairs, and we no longer have a wood stove up there for Scott to fire up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So by all the logistical standards, the school's really the only, pretty much the best option.
Yeah.
I think Craig would like to contribute.
So I would like to make the motion that we hold town meeting 2025 at the Calais Elementary School, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we do not need to use a tabulator. We'll hand count the ballots.
You have, Craig wants to.
Yeah, if I could ask a couple of questions, and again, comment, the proper parliamentary procedure for a motion is to entertain the motion, to have a second, and then to open it up for discussion.
We can do that.
But anyway,
Discuss.
I just wanted to get my words in before you voted on it, so that's why I was,
Well, there are much more relaxed rules for small meetings.
well, it's Robert's Rules of Order, I'm just saying, and that's what you're following, so just, I'm trying to be helpful, I'm not trying to be adversarial here. I just wanted to try to get my question in before it was voted upon. So my question is, and maybe it was partially answered already about the heat upstairs, but as you know, every year I've been disappointed and others have been that we do not hold a town meeting in this wonderful town hall. Now, perhaps it's a matter of heat. I just got numbers from Tegan about attendance for the last 2 years. And it's less than we once had. Last year, it was 144 actual registered voters coming to participate in town meeting. That's not the people who came to drop their ballot in a box. And the year before, it was 152. So it's my memory, and I could be mistaken, that this building could handle something just over 200 people based on capacity, restrooms, et cetera. So my question was going to be, why do we seem to just automatically assume we're having the meeting at the elementary school? We all know why we moved there, because this building was under renovations, and then COVID. I would very much like to see this group really consider where to have the meeting with a strong vote for the town hall. Many of us voted for the renovations, expecting that we would have town meeting here. Thank you for listening.
So I agree that 100, more than 150 people can physically fit in this building, and that's okay with the fire code. However, the wastewater system is maxed at 150. So if there's more than 150 people in this building, we have to get porta potties. And so porta potties for the use of restrooms, the first Tuesday of March is not a great idea. And plus parking is just so much easier at the school than it is here. So I think it's more, and plus the upstairs is simply not heated. There is no heating option upstairs.
Or insulation, right?
Or, yeah, it's not insulated either, correct?
I take your point there, Barbara. Parking, you get there early, so you don't have to deal with, but there are cars out on the road every year at the school. It's really not much different to my mind. The bathrooms, are all 150 people going to use the bathroom while they're here? I mean, do you have any numbers about that?
Oh, no, I'm saying that there can't be more than 150 people in attendance in the building. Depends on the certificate of occupancy and the restrooms.
There's an assumption that all 150 people will use the facility.
I don't think that assumption is being made. That's just what the certificate of occupancy states.
No one has.
Thank you.
That's done.
Dylan is it?
I was just gonna call the question.
I have one more piece to add. You all asked about the cost. It is, so to have the ballots printed, which you have to do if you are tabulator counting, is about $770. Coding the memory cards is about $525. So it's about $1,300 to do it that way. If we didn't do it that way, Barbara and I would print them on the printer for whatever it costs to print out that many pieces of paper. And that would be the end of the expense, so.
Okay. So we all, I guess, agree that we won't use a tabulator for a town meeting, in 2025.
We haven't voted.
Well, I realize that, but that's kind of, that's what we're gonna vote on.
No, didn't we just say we weren't gonna use the
Yeah, we're actually, we're gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We
have to vote on Barbara's motion.
We have to
Which was
vote.
not to use the tabulator,
All right.
among
Okay.
other things.
Okay. All right, all in favor of Barbara's motion, say aye.
Do we need a second? Oh, you did second, thank you.
Two seconds. Opposed? Aye. All right, that carries. All right, last location and hours, the town meeting 2025.
I made the motion that we hold it at the Calais Elementary School and the hours be 7 AM to 7 PM.
Okay, second that. We did.
I did, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we voted on that already. We'll say all in favor, say,
We got it.
just in case, I didn't, my last, motion didn't include that.
Yeah.
All right, okay, reviewing changes to the checklist pursuant to 17 VSA section 2144B.
So this is in the statute, I'm required to let you know of any changes in the checklist within a certain number of days before an election. If you see anything on there that puts up a red flag, you all know more people than I do just by myself.
Yeah.
And there will probably be changes. A lot of people have been calling to say, no, that's not my address anymore. I've moved to East Montpelier. I've been getting alerts, so that'll be changing all the way up to.
So I don't know the terms transfer voter and reactivate. This is my first time doing.
Reactivate means that they had been purged from either our list or someone else's list, and they registered to vote here.
And what about transfer? voter?
Transfer
That's
means
from
they-
some other town.
Yeah, it means from one town to another within Vermont.
Yeah, great, thanks.
There's one name here I want to ask you about. I used to live on Lightning Ridge Road, Matt Cassie.
Okay,
He was challenged, but, do you only know where he actually, is anyone tried to contact him? He has relatives on,
I get on the challenge list.
So what was the name again and which page is it on?
well, second page, but like
of the challenge list or the change list?
We're looking at the change list.
challenge,
That's the next agenda item.
it's got to be purged, or
We're looking at this list.
So on.
all right. Um, Any more discussion?
I just want to be clear about the two people, it says response to challenge letter.
That means that, so when a voter is challenged, they are mailed the challenge letter, and we've gotten two back from people saying that they no longer live in Calais, so they've been removed from the voter list.
You have to send letters to everybody on the,
People who we choose to challenge.
yeah.
So either every other year, we all get together and pick people to challenge that we believe have moved out of town, or if Barbara and I have very good reason to believe someone has moved out of town.
I thought it was sort of usual business that only two responded to.
Well, and that's what we since August also, and we hadn't sent out too many new challenge letters since August.
So the first person on the list, they've been challenged.
Yes,
Does that require us to take an action to purge them?
none of these things require an action to purge them, and they have been challenged, they've only been challenged in August. We cannot purge anyone who's been challenged till at least 2 elections go by.
Yeah.
So that's just, none of this requires an action, this is just information for you all, yeah.
But, what's different between that challenge voter and all the voters on the challenge list?
We just sent a challenge letter to that voter in the last 2 months, whereas everyone on the challenge list has been on this list since at least 2021.
Since before November of 2022, they either have to have responded to us and said, I no longer live in Calais, you can remove me from the polls. And which then at that time you do, or they have to say, no, I still live in Calais, and they have to sign an affidavit swearing that they're still in bona fide Calais resident. But they have, or they don't respond, and you have to go through 2 general election cycles before you can purge them. So that's what we're gonna do next.
So the voter that's marked challenged on the change list, what's their status if they come in to vote?
Anyone can come in and register to vote on election day. Doesn't matter if they are purged, doesn't matter if they were challenged, doesn't matter if we have never seen them before. If they produce an ID of some kind, so we can match them in the system, and they register to vote, they vote.
So they just signed the affidavit saying, I'm still verified, and we simply unchallenged them.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, back to the confirming that the challenge voters have not voted or responded to their challenge letter past 2 years will will be purged following the November 5th, 2024 election.
I want to say Alberto Ferrari has since requested a ballot for this election, but he's removed from this list, he's going back on the poll.
So Tegan, if someone on this list shows up and shows their ID and votes, they're off this list.
They're off the list. Yeah. This is just, if people on this list are still getting ballots election after election, and we are spending the postage and printing the paper and they're not voting. And so we try to clear them off regularly, but it's very easy for them to get back on.
The only one I saw here, I would probably look into further is Matthew Tassie, this is, I think his brother lives on Lightning Ridge Road, one Tassie does anyway, he would know.
Do you know how we can reach him? Because he's never responded to our attempts to reach him.
I think his brother's name is Scott, I'm not sure about that, but he lives just down, 2 houses below me,
If you can tell us how we can reach Matthew Taffy,
Yeah.
because he's never responded to our attempts to contact
yeah,
him.
I can look into that tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay.
So when we should, if we're working on the checklist, when people check in,
The challenge voters are.
will they be identified as challenged?
They will, so actually I have this because I brought it for Craig, so I can count the number of people who came. So when you have the voter checklist in the binder, you see this little sticky note? These are the challenge votes, we put them in the back of the binder so that you have to flip all the way to the back. And that tells you, oh, this person is challenged, you know, we need to make adjustments in our system, so they're kept separate.
So then we will send them to you?
Yep, and they need to just
Complete the
affirm that they are
affidavit.
still Calais voters.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so do we have to have an action on this, or is that something we can do without?
this was for your information.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item is appointing non-BCA election volunteers for the ensuing 1-year term. We have a list here. 14 to 15 people here who want to work.
I move that we approve the list, before us from October 14th of election volunteers.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Well,
Aye.
let me just ask first, how did they get on, where did they?
So some of these people, when they registered to vote, they checked the box. They said, I'd be interested in volunteering, and we followed up with them. Some of them weren't a long time ago, but we still volunteer. I mean, I with them and they said, yeah, I'd like to. Others actually took the initiative to contact us and say, he was either here at an election or they
Yeah.
called the town office, said, I'd like to be an election volunteer.
Great,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Do you have enough volunteers for this year? We haven't even started, like, I was waiting for this to be approved tonight, and tomorrow the schedule's gonna go out to everybody.
Because these are just the new volunteers.
These are just the new ones that are added to the ones that we already have on record.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, all those in favor? Opposed? You guys carry that one. The last item is any other business, anyone wants to discuss? For the BCA? Any other items, anybody here?
I want to thank Mike and Charlotte for stepping up to be our leaders. I want to thank Tegan for taking notes and keeping us together, and Kari, even though he's not a member of this, for running our electronics for us. Thank you, Kari.
Yeah.
Oh, no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting's adjourned. It's not even 6 o'clock. Good movie.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
I think we could